Our NFL Week 8 Monday night finale features two teams really moving in opposite directions. After starting off 0-2, the Chiefs have won 4 of their past 5 games. Patrick Mahomes and this offense seem to be back on track. The Commanders, however, have lost 2 of their last 3 games, dealing with a ton of injuries, and now facing their most difficult 3-game stretch on their schedule. And it all starts tonight from Kansas City. For much more on what to expect, let's welcome you inside our CBS Sports HQ studios. I'm Jordan Giorgio, ran Carthon and Leger Douzable with me. You know, I just mentioned it. This really marks a really tough stretch for the Commanders. Of course, KC tonight, Seahawks, and then the Lions will have to start this quest without their starting quarterback, Jayden Daniels. So Marcus Mariota is in. We were just talking with Logan Ryan a minute ago. I don't know if you guys heard, but he was on the Titans team with Marcus Mariota the last time Marcus faced the Chiefs, where he threw that touchdown pass to himself. Do you think we maybe see some more magic tonight, Rand?
I mean, it's going to take some magic.
Yeah, definitely
let's say that. But here's the one thing about Marcus Mariota and his fit in this offense. There are very few backup quarterbacks where the offensive coordinator doesn't have to change the overall game plan in the way they want to run their offense. And this is one of those cases because Marcus Mariota, although he's not Jayden Daniels, he has a similar skill set, which allows Cliff Kingsbury to have the freedom to call plays how he wants to. Oh, and by the way, you're getting your 2 starting receivers back, which should help. Now, here's what's going to have to happen in this game. The Commanders lead the league right now, averaging 5.4 yards a carry, with Wild Bill Krosky-Merritt in the backfield. And in order to stifle this offense, they're going to have to play keep away with the Commanders' offense and be able to run the ball effectively to shorten the game and keep that Kansas City offense off the field.
And I think the biggest thing, if you're Marcus Mariota, you got to protect the football, right? We saw him come in for Jayden Daniels, threw the ball late outside. DeRon Bland gets a pick 6. You can't do that versus Kansas City Chiefs defense. And another thing to talk about, right, when you're talking about Cliff Kingsbury, you got to have a plan in place. And you talked about getting Bill Krosky-Merritt going in the run game. Get Marcus Mariota going in the run game. Get +1. Rand talked about it. Sometimes your best defense is to keep your offense on the field, so you keep Patrick Mahomes and that offense off the field. Another thing I want to talk about is the game plan from Cliff Kingsbury, right? We know Steve Spagnuolo is going to bring pressure. You got to have an answer for pressure in this game. If you're Marcus Mariota, you got your 2, toys on the outside coming back, and Deebo Samuel and Scary Terry McLaurin. You have to have quick answers for pressure because Steve Spagnuolo will heat it up.
They'll look to get back on track in a game that really features 2 conference championship representatives from just a season ago. But right now, the Commanders are in danger of being left out of that NFC playoff race. Rand, how can they get back in it?
Again, it goes back to what we were just talking about. They have to find ways to win these football games, particularly without Jayden Daniels, which is going to be hard, right? Because he's such a key piece of this offense. But they have to find a way to get this defense going.
Man.
And their head coach, Dan Quinn, is known for being a defensive guy, but they have to find a way to get this defense going. They have really struggled. They only have 3 takeaways on the entire season, which is second fewest in the NFL behind your Jets. Didn't mean to go there with it.
Quick dig there, man.
But they've also given up 7.8 yards per pass play, which is last in the league, which is not representative of a Dan Quinn offense. And so they got to find a way. Unfortunately, tonight they're playing a Chiefs team that is starting to take off and really catch fire, but they have to find a way to stop people on defense.
And I'm so glad you brought up the defense because, to your point, they are last in the league in yards per attempt given up. They're also 25th in pass yards given up per game. That's kind of been their Achilles heel, and we see the NFC playoff picture, Jordan. You're talking about them maybe getting left behind. Like, you can be 4-3 and not even in the playoffs right now. That's how good the top of the NFC is. Like, you have to have 2 losses or 3 losses or less to even be in the discussion right now. We're talking about them potentially maybe losing another game. And Jordan, you brought it up, right? Games against the Seahawks coming up, games against the Lions. They have the Eagles twice still to finish the season. So this is a gauntlet. You need JD5 first and foremost to come back. But if you're Marcus Mariota and JD5, Jayden Daniels is going to be out for the next couple games, you got to keep them afloat. It's like playing keep away. You got to keep the ball away from the Kansas City Chiefs. But there it is. That's been the issue for this team. The defensive ranks. I talked about how they're 25th in the league in pass yards given up, last in yards per attempt right there. And at the touchdown interception ratio, you talked about it, Rand. They only, I believe, have 3. 28th in the league when it comes to giving up touchdowns and then taking the football away. So if you're Marshawn Lattimore, you got to shake off last week. You really struggled down the field against George Pickens. You got to shake this off and have a big game tonight.
Let's get to KC here. Patrick Mahomes' this offense, they're humming. We'll get to the offense in a bit, but this defense really coming into form as of lately. What's been key, Leger?
To me, it's been a change. They brought in the young corner, Noah Williams, to start outside at corner, which me and Rand talked about this before coming on air. Trent McDuffie, to me, is an all-pro slot corner. Now, he's a really good corner on the outside, and for like the last year and a half, they've kind of had to put him out there because they haven't had the subsequent depth. Remember, Jalen Watson was hurt last year. Now they're getting to put him in the inside, and this is where you see the best Trent McDuffie. I was talking about the pressure packages that they bring. That also speeds up the quarterback's clock, right? Makes you throw the ball a lot sooner than you want to. And up front, they've actually played well as far as stopping the run because that was their Achilles heel first couple of weeks of the season. They could not stop anybody in the run game. So kudos to Steve Spagnuolo and kudos to Noah Williams being a young rookie coming in, understanding, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a lot of pressure there. I love that they've been able to move Trent McDuffie back to the slot.
Yeah, and you talk about those guys up front, right? We all know George Karlaftis and Chris Jones, but they have gotten really good performances out of Leo Chenal, and the way they've been able to use him and his versatility really adds to it. And a guy like Charles Omenihu,
who's played well,
being able to play on the edge and set those edges in first and second down and kick inside. And because of his arm length, I think he has 35-inch arms. He's able to affect those throwing windows for the quarterback, even if he doesn't get home. And I think he has 2 or 3 sacks on the season. So you've been getting good performances out of people who aren't household names, which really helps that Steve Spagnuolo defense.
Now back to this offense. It seems like they're starting to get back into form really since Rashee Rice made his return. However, Mahomes missing some key pieces on this O-line, Josh Simmons and Trey Smith. What's your concern level for this O-line holding up?
Not really at all, right? Because when you look at it, Jalen Moore, they paid him a lot of money to be the swing guy.
Which everyone questioned. Everyone questioned.
Yeah, which they did. They look like geniuses now, right? Yeah. He started last week, and there was no drop-off on the offense. And then obviously losing Trey Smith is big. But Mike Caliendo's played a lot for them. He's a guy that even played in the Super Bowl with them. So when I look at this offensive line, this is the first time I felt like Kansas City has a subsequent depth there. Because remember, that was their issue, right? At tackle, when one guy goes down, who is coming in? That guy is the fish on the offensive line. Now they have the subsequent depth where they have guys up front that can protect Mahomes. And the way that Patrick Mahomes is playing right now, the offensive line is probably the least of your worries because he's playing so efficient and getting the ball out of his hands. We're seeing that Patrick Mahomes we saw 2 years ago where he's dinking and dunking, taking what the defense is giving him. You see it right there, what he did the first 3 games compared to the last 4. Look at the completion percentage, Rand. 71%. He's throwing for over 280 yards a game and 11 touchdowns, only 1 interception. So not only is he being efficient throwing the football, but he's taking care of the football. Now, we talked about the woes that the Commanders have had in the secondary in their pass defense. This is the game. You get Xavier Worthy down the field. I talked about Marshawn Lattimore and how he's really struggled. This is the game. This is the opportunity. They've kind of broke out, right? I believe 4 straight games scoring over 28. This is the game they can get Xavier Worthy going down the field.
You talk about the points per game. Since week 4, they're averaging 31.5 points per game. And you talk about really getting going. And the graphic there showed it. Patrick Mahomes' completion percentage being up 12 points, which is an absurd number.
That's a crazy number.
And you talked about them not having all their offensive linemen. And good quarterbacks make struggling offensive line looks better than what they are because you get the ball out quick, and the quarterback helps protect the offensive line. And so now you have a Rashee Rice coming back. Well, he's back. And if you look at his yards per attempt, like downfield, it's a small number because he's a guy you want to get the ball in his hands on the move.
Correct.
And that is going to be another key piece for this offense, catching him on those underneath drag concepts, get him the ball quick and allow him to run after the catch. It does not, them not having their full complement of offensive linemen is not going to negate the explosiveness of this offense.
That's a great point. We'll keep a lookout for that. National Tight End Day was yesterday. We've got Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz representing their position group tonight on Monday Night Football. Will either find the end zone? What do you guys think?
I mean, one thing Kansas City is going to try to seek out and find Travis Kelce in the red zone. And the opposite, so do the Commanders. Like when Jaden Daniels is the quarterback, that's the first read in most of his progressions is Zach Ertz. And both of these guys aren't as good as they used to be, but they're very good complements to the team. They still know how to spot up in zone. There's savvy veterans. And we talked about in the red zone, that's when their number gets called. So I think one of them, maybe even both of them, find the end zone tonight because both of them, their percentages go up in the red zone as far as the quarterback feeling comfortable going to them in those scenarios.
I'll say this yesterday, and we see the graphic here, the amount of tight ends that scored yesterday. It was over, 10? I think 10 are shown there on the graphic. I want to say it may have been, it was 10 that scored individual. Had 2 guys that scored multiple touchdowns yesterday. if George Kittle is the founder of this National Tight Ends Day, we got these two guys that are playing tonight. They are ambassadors to this, and I think both guys will get in the end zone because I think it will be important for both of them. And trust me, they've gone to their quarterbacks like, hey, it's National Tight Ends Day. Show me some love.
Show your boy some love, man.
All right. I might take that plus money right now. I'm seeing Zach Ertz.
Don't put your money off of my
I don't know. You're selling me on that. All right, let's get a game pick from you first, Brand.
I'm going with Kansas City. And producer Jack got on me about it. It was like, oh, that was the easy one, the low-hanging fruit, as we call it on our Sunday night show. But I just think where this Kansas City offense is going and where they're trending over these last couple weeks is going to be just too much. And by the way, Kansas City has won 8 straight games against the Commanders and are 10-1 all time against them. What I think the last time they won was way back in the 80s when I was still crawling around in diapers. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs tonight.
So I'm picking against the spread.
Okay.
And 11.5 points is massive. That's a lot of points in the NFL. Now, I get it, right? One team looks like a wounded animal. The other team is the trajectory's going this way. But 11.5 points is a lot. And you talked about trends, right? Let's look at the trends with Patrick Mahomes, specifically on Monday Night Football games. The last 7 Monday night games, he's 1-6 against the spread. You're going to give me 11.5 points. Plus, we get our weapons back on offense, Deebo Samuel, Scary Terry McLaurin. I think the Commanders play enough keep away to keep this game close. Give me the 11.5 points with the Commanders to cover.
All right, cooking up a little parlay over here. You guys are selling me. We're winning some money on Monday Night Football. It all gets underway from Kansas City, 8:15 kickoff. Last week on the show, I believe Pete was eating his words. What were some of the notables from last night?
Well, last night I got picked on because of my jacket I wore had elbow pads on.
You're always doing that too.
So they were picking on me. I'm the guy that's easy to pick on the show. So
yeah,
I
it's
take
because
it.
you don't fight back. You got to take notes from this guy.
No, I told him, I was like, you guys just open it up for me to be petty. So I'm here for it.
All right, well, hey, we'll see what happens next Sunday, 8:20 Eastern Time, right here on HQ.